Shane, the rush defense has been better the last few weeks. What are some of the keys for why that's improved so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys are swarming to the football. We're getting guys to the football. I think the tackling has been improved. I mean, you even look at the ones early that Saquon had against us. To get them down for 13 and 18, it's a drastic difference than going for 40 plus, right? So, and I felt like our guys responded after those two. But continuing to just work our technique, work our fundamentals, the mentality that comes with that, and making sure we're able to get off blocks and swarm and don't leave it up to one-on-one tackles.
Shane, you always talk about run fits. Is that something you see improving each week?
Yeah, I think that's something we got to work at always. I mean, these offenses, they get creative. They understand kind of how to attack certain schemes in the run game, and just making sure our guys are there. And again, I think even more so than that, we got to be sound in our fits, but we got to be able to change the math and get guys off blocks and take two at times and find free players that way too, where you can get to the ball and not just rely on one guy to make the play.
Shane, as a coordinator, how do you balance, this is what I believe in, this is what our plan is, this is what we're going to do, versus the heat of the moment in games where players are, we want to do this, can we be more aggressive? How do you balance that and not have chaos?
Yeah, I think we have a game plan going in. It's a little bit of everything, just in terms of how we want to play a certain offense, but at the same time, you try to go in with a good mix, right? Where you can be a little bit more, let's rush with forward, play to coverage, or let's try to bring some pressure. So you have a lot of that stuff in your back pocket as you go throughout the game, and I think just getting a feel for how teams are trying to attack you. Our studies throughout the week situationally, how things are going, if that's changing throughout the game. But hopefully we have enough in our arsenal going into a game plan where we're able to make adjustments based on that as we go, whether it's our players, whether it's what we're seeing from the offense, we can do that.
In your history, have players ever come to you passionately and said, Coach, we need to be less aggressive? Or is it always let us go?
It's funny because you talk to different groups and you get different answers, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm open to those guys having their opinions and bringing suggestions and how we see things, how we want to play things, and making sure we're all on the same page. That's the most important thing to me, making sure from the back end to the front that the coaching staff, everybody's on the same page with whatever we decide to do, whatever we think is best going into a game plan, that we're able to go out there and execute, and guys see it through the same set of eyes, so we're able to go execute it.
Have they earned your trust more in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job. Again, we got some new pieces. I feel like we're trying to evolve as we go. There's a comfort level that's getting established, I think, among them out there as well. That always plays a part in it, especially when you add pieces to the back end. That's where a lot of the communication and some of that stuff comes into play a little bit more than up front. But I'm pleased with the group. I'm pleased with the progress we're making. Again, we got to continue. Like, teams that have success are usually the ones that continue to improve throughout the year. So just continue on that route and see where we go.
Dable talked about he wanted you to be more aggressive, be aggressive. When I asked, what happened on the, the interception, you brought a lot of pressure on that play.
Yeah.
How much is that a concerted effort? Is that just specifically for that game? Is that a concerted effort for the season? Like, how do you look at that?
Yeah, again, it kind of a little bit goes back to his question earlier. I think by game plan we have our kind of plan going in of how we feel like we can attack, right, and dictate. And you want to be able to dictate on defense, because the offense has so much at their arsenal where they can motion and move and different groups and everything else. Like, you want to be able to find ways to dictate defensively, obviously. And I think that's something moving forward as we go, just finding ways to do that and being timely with it when we do, and being able to go forward that way.
Shane, when you look at the stunts up front and just the idea of You know, it's one thing to say, okay, we want to do this up front. How much falls on the individual players and the guys getting together and kind of learning each other and the feel for it, and how does that make them successful?
Yeah, a lot. I feel like that's one area you kind of seen us progress as the seasons kind of went on, just the comfort level, and a little bit of that you move pieces around, and one guy does it one way and then another guy, different body type, different skill set, does it a little bit different. So just continuing to build that feel with each other in terms of how those games are executed. I think the understanding of the details of those games is important, and that correlates too to who's running it with you. But the coordination among those guys has improved. I think they got a good understanding of it. I think they're seeing success from it. And the thing we always tell them, it's not always the guy that's getting picked for that gets it, right? A lot of times it's the guys that's doing the picking, that's the penetrator. And but they're unselfish. Like, all those guys are unselfish. They're doing a lot of good things for us right now, and hopefully we can keep building.
Obviously, you're not in a players-only meeting, but I guess what does it say about Burns that he's calling that and wants to?
Yeah, he's established himself as a leader for us. You know, he's done a really good job. He's showing up on game day. He comes out here and works every day. He spends time in the building studying the opponent, talking to the other guys. I think that's a big part of it. Just getting those guys all on the same page, making sure they're accountable to each other, continuing to work to evolve and come together as a defense.
According to the official game book, Abdul did not register a stat in the game. You're smiling. I assume you think that he actually played in the game and did some things.
Yeah, he's. I mean, I get it. The sacks numbers are not what probably he wants them to be right now, but he's been extremely productive for us. He really has. Just continue to push forward. Those are going to come, and hopefully they come in bunches when they do start coming. But again, he's been a very productive player for us. Just whatever we've asked him to do, he's been able to do. You go back to the KC game, playing off the ball the entire game for us because where we were at. So we'll continue to find ways with him and all these other guys to see if we can create some opportunities for him.
But it wasn't just sacks. There was no tackles, no assists, no hits, no zeros across the board.
Yeah.
I guess you have a different grading system, and there was some things in there that.
Yeah, I think there'll be more opportunities week to week. I mean, I think it varies just based on where they're running ball, how they're doing things. I mean, I think that kind of a little bit depends on how we're being attacked and where he's aligned, and some of that stuff comes into play.
He got
You obviously went with Cordell as the primary outside cornerback. Didn't really do the rotation with Deontay. What went into that decision?
Yeah, I think like we've told y'all here every week, it's going to be a week-to-week evaluation. We're going to need both those guys. We're going to need them both. Again, I think they've both shown some good things throughout. There's been some plays all of us would probably like to have back. But just encouraged with where he was going into the week. That's what we decided to do, and he showed up and played well for us.
Do you plan on sticking with Flop this week?
Yeah, I think we'll see. Like, we're working through it, talking through all that as we go. Obviously, they had, I won't even get into that, but yeah, like week to week.